As a person with a very deep voice, I'm hired all the time for advertising campaigns. But a deep voice doesn't sell B2B, and advertising on the wrong platform doesn't sell B2B either. That's why if you're a B2B marketer, you should use LinkedIn ads. LinkedIn has the targeting capabilities to help you reach the world's largest professional audience. That's right, over 70 million decision makers all in one place. All the big wigs, then medium wigs, also small wigs who are on the path to becoming big wigs. Okay, that's enough about wigs. LinkedIn ads allows you to focus on getting your B2B message to the right people. So, does that mean you should use ads on LinkedIn instead of hiring me, the man with the deepest voice in the world? Yes. Yes, it does. Get started today and see why LinkedIn is the place to be to be. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Go to linkedin.com/MPN to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/MPN. Terms and conditions apply.
Entrepreneurs Enigma is a podcast for the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. So the wins and the fails that we all face being entrepreneurs, how we learn from adversity. Every week I talk to a different entrepreneur with a story to tell. I'm Seth Goldstein. Come with me on the journey. This is Entrepreneurs Enigma. Let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Entrepreneurs Enigma podcast. I'm your host, as always, hasn't changed in, 200 episodes, something like that. Today I have Katie Brinkley, who is a social media agency founder. She is a digital marketing coach and consultant, a professional speaker, a Rocky Mountain marketer. She's out in the great state of Colorado, Mile High, so thinner air up there, but it doesn't slow her down at all. She trains business owners and teams on how to optimize their online presence to add clients, increase revenue, and grow their online personas. She's an expert on this. She's very prolific on LinkedIn, Instagram, as you would expect, because she does this for a living. Hey, Katie, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Not too bad. This is exciting. We had kid issues before, and scheduling podcasts is always hard.
You know, life, man. Life is
hard. Life is a trip, it's crazy. So how did this adventure all get started? Have you always been an entrepreneur? Have you always wanted to be an entrepreneur? Or has it not always been that way?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of fell into the world of entrepreneurship. I think that a lot of, looking back on it, I'm like, of course I ended up being an entrepreneur. I planned on being a sports journalist. That was my job. I was the post-game reporter for the Broncos and the Rockies here. Denver. It was great. I mean, I loved it. And then, I moved into the world of marketing and was the marketing manager for the Colorado Rockies TV station.
Ooh, that's fun.
I know. And then 7 years ago, I was laid off. My position was eliminated, and it stunk. I was not planning on it. My boss, and I remember sitting in my boss's office, and I said to her, I'm like, man, Jen, I don't know what I'm going to do. And she said, well, Katie, you're so good at social media. I would love to see you find a role where that's all that you do is just social media. And I was like, well, let's see if I can find that. And it's been 7 years. I found it. I created an agency, and I can't imagine doing anything else.
So is it just you? Are you a solo practitioner? Do you have a team?
So for the first 3 years of my business, it was just me. I was a solopreneur. And then in 2020, I went to social media marketing world, and I wanted to start a podcast. I really wanted to just learn the strategies so that I could take my business to the next step. And I invested in a coach, and from then I launched my podcast, hired a coach, and hired my first assistant. And my assistant's still with me. It's been 4 years. So
you're doing something right. You still like you, which is
exactly.
You get the right camaraderie going and stuff. That's awesome. So is it just you and your assistant, or do you have more people too?
Now it's a team of 7. So So I have,
that's pretty impressive.
I have 3 full-time employees, and then the rest are contractors. But it's I love my team. I love doing what I do. And I really can't imagine doing anything else now.
Oh, that's wild. And I guess it gives you flexibility. I mean, we'll go into this. Like, I guess we'll go into that right now. What's the best thing about being an entrepreneur versus like working for the Rockies? I mean, this sounds like awesome jobs.
Yeah, I know. I mean, totally a dream job. I would go and sit.
Job.
Yeah, I would sit in like, the seats right behind home plate, like on my lunch break, because I was like, I got nothing else to do. I'm just going to go and watch a couple innings of baseball. I mean, it was,
yeah, that's awesome.
I know. But honestly, I think that Seth, everything that I've done has kind of set me up to do what I'm doing now. And I mean, I loved being the post-game reporter. I loved being on air. I loved getting to
you were on air or doing it?
Yeah. So I got to do, I mean, it was great. I loved my jobs. And, leaving radio probably was me being younger. And, I was like, okay, well, I was working part-time at the station. So I was part-time for doing post-game interviews. I was part-time doing traffic.
Ooh,
and so none of it was
on the 9s.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I did the traffic reporting too. And I mean, it was great. But I wanted to have a full-time job. I wanted benefits.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I guess this is the way to do it. And so I left. And so I feel like I should have stuck it out longer and just put in the legwork for it. But I think everything that I've done has really just prepared me for my business and leading a team and what I want and the quality of life that I want. And I know that my team members want to have. So
are you all remote?
So there's 3 of us in Denver, 1 in Texas, 1 in Missouri. I mean, we're all over. Yeah. But, the ones here in Colorado come in once a week, into the office here. I'm here every day. So this is for those that are watching, I have an office space and they come into the office just once a week. I mean, if they want to come in more, they can, but for the most part, they can get the same amount of work done from home.
They can probably get more done because they don't have to commute in.
Yeah.
You don't realize that remote work, you could probably get more work out of people than you would if you didn't, because they're not wasting a half an hour. I mean, a half an hour to go. I mean, in the Philadelphia area, half an hour gets you about 12 miles.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Denver's getting that way too. It's getting pretty bad here in Denver with traffic.
So are you in Denver proper? Or you're like in the burbs?
I'm in the burbs. So when I work,
but isn't the airport in the burbs? And the airport takes you an hour to get.
The airport is the boonies. I live in the burbs.
The airport is so big; it doesn't take you to get to. You enter the airport, and it takes you an hour to get to the airport from the airport entrance. It's insane. I went to Denver that one time. It's incredibly.
The airport it says Denver International Airport. It is not Denver. It is very far.
It's in the plains.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I can see downtown Denver. It's just out my window here.
Ooh,
I live
pretty.
just this way. Like, this is west. This is more towards the mountains. So I mean.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm a little bit closer to the mountains. I mean, as the crow flies, I think I'm maybe 11 miles from downtown Denver. But
how long does it take you to get down there, though?
I plan on at least 45 minutes. So.
Yeah, I'm 20 miles from downtown Philadelphia. 20 miles.
Yeah.
It takes me an hour and 10. Now, it's turning into the commute chat, but it's kind of true. It's like, it's just, there's no direct route from it. There is, but it takes right through the ghetto of Philadelphia. And it's all stoplights. It takes you longer to go straight than it does to go zigzag. It's the most bizarre thing.
Exactly. It's annoying, but it is what it is.
So. It is what it is. We're going to take a quick break, hear from our sponsors, and get right back to the show.
You may know you're listening to this show along the Marketing Podcast Network, but did you know there are other great shows on MPN to help your business? Sarah Panus hosts a great podcast called Marketing with Empathy. Sarah, tell us what these fine folks will get when they listen.
Marketing with Empathy is a weekly podcast, and it's designed for brand content marketers who want to connect with their audiences through storytelling and are looking for help to do it better, plus enjoy that recognition, growth, and just joy that comes from creating great work.
Awesome. Where can people subscribe?
Yeah, head on over to marketingpodcast.net and you will see the Marketing with Empathy show there. Otherwise, wherever you listen to podcasts, you'll find Marketing with Empathy.
You heard her. Go subscribe.
So what is the best thing about being an entrepreneur in your mind?
Well, I'm going to say this carefully, but being able to work the hours that I want, whenever I want, wherever I want.
It has to be a blessing and a curse, though.
It's such a blessing and a curse. And it wasn't until 2 years ago that I took my first laptop-free vacation.
Oh, you actually managed to do that. I have yet to do that.
It was systems, processes, and hiring the right people. I mean,
and balls of steel, because it's really terrifying. I can only imagine.
Terrifying. But now, like the team that I have, I feel so confident in saying, I'm out of the office. However, Kendra will be your contact, everything, for anything that might come up.
Yeah. I mean, it absolutely needs you. You have a cell phone that you can get the browser on if you need to.
Yeah. And it's definitely one of those things where I was falling into the trap of working all the time. And when I first started my business, I was working from my couch in between nap times. I had younger children. I was working nights and weekends.
It's so much easier when you have older kids to kind of deal with themselves.
Well, but this is the thing, Seth. When my kids went to school, I was still working that hard. So when I was working at nights and weekends, I knew like, okay, I only have X amount of time. I have to get these things done. And so I was working really, really hard in a short amount of time. Yeah. So when my kids went to school, I was working really, really hard for 8 hours, which was great. I was able to get a lot done. However, I was burning myself out.
Yeah.
I was working so much. Like I almost took it as a badge of honor when people would say to me like, Katie, how do you find the time for this? How are you getting all this done? Or how did you do this? And I'm like, I don't know. I had the time for it.
Yeah.
But really, I didn't have the time for it. I was working so hard. I was afraid I was having a hard time leaving my desk and going to the bathroom.
Oh,
I'm not even joking. Like it was
that'll get you UTI. That's not a good thing.
Yeah. But this is the thing. I didn't know, like, I just was so used to working really, really hard. And it wasn't until I like consciously taking that step back that
I also probably getting an office too helps, because it's like I'm in the office, I'm working.
Yes,
and
exactly.
I go home, I have my laptop if I need it, but
I don't even take it out anymore.
Oh wow.
So
that's awesome. That's great when I'm at work in my basement, so like literally I do have a separation, but I still come down here mostly to escape the kid. I have to admit, mostly it's to escape the kid. Like when he's getting to be a little too much for me, I'm like, Mare, like to my wife, I'm like, Meredith, it's your turn. I'm gonna go down to work some, because it's a break for me. Working at times is a break as well, but I get it. And if you can leave your stuff at work, even if you stay a little bit later because you don't want to bring the laptop home, it's great.
Yeah,
it's a great idea. So what keeps you up at night now that you kind of have systems, processes, and you've taken a vacation without a laptop?
Well, I think that for what keeps me up at night is making sure that I've delegated efficiently. Because there's certain times where, we were just talking about this before we hit record here. I was like, I got to make sure my Slack notifications are muted because, because all of a sudden I might see something from a team member, and like one of my team members there, we're relaunching our website. And so this has been their thing that they've been working on for like the past month.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like last night, okay, I have to make sure that I give the updated copy. And it's already mid-morning here and I still haven't gotten the copy. And I know they're waiting on me to get the copy.
I have a podcast. Let me get to the podcast.
But I mean, and this is where I'll be thinking about these are the things that I have to do to help my team be efficient. As opposed to before, it was, these are the things I have to do for my clients.
Exactly.
Now it's, these are the things I have to make sure I'm doing.
One step removed sometimes.
Yes.
Your team can get their stuff done for the clients, but you are actually in turn doing stuff for the clients by getting your team involved. And it's a vicious cycle. Yeah.
It is. And it's, but I mean, I wouldn't change any of it. I think that as an entrepreneur, your mind is always going to be going. Your mind's always going to be thinking about things, and I think that that's one of the keys to growth. If you're not constantly thinking about what are the problems that my ideal client has, then you're going to get left behind, and they're going to find other people to go work with. So you have to always be thinking about the problems that people are trying to solve and how you can help solve them. So it's kind of that, there's never a dull moment being an entrepreneur.
There never is. And if there's a dull moment, you're doing something wrong, because it should not be dull.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be dull. Absolutely not. So what is the most important thing to carry with you all the time?
Like, you mean like mentally, or like in my backpack?
You can go as deep or as physical as you want.
Well, I think that this is actually it might resonate with some people, but for me, my thing that I always have with me are my mountains. So the mountains are my happy place. They help me feel grounded. So I have like a mountain necklace. I wear mountain shirts. Like right now out my window, I can see downtown Denver, but I can't see my mountains. If for those watching, if you see here, you can see I have my mountains on the wall even.
Oh, that's what the triangle is. That's awesome. So you have like a kind of for those who are listening, she has painted mountains behind her.
Yeah. And I mean, I recently got the mountains tattooed on I mean, so my mountains are my thing to keep me grounded.
Yeah,
and
great.
It's for a lot of people, it's the ocean. It's,
they're a little far from the ocean. So
yeah.
A little far.
I mean, it's different for everyone. But when honestly, if I'm feeling stressed, if I'm feeling overwhelmed, I really just need to see the mountains to help ground myself.
It's like a cue to chill out and just relax. Everything's gonna be okay. Yeah, it's great.
Exactly. And it's going to be different for everybody, but find the thing that helps keep you grounded to help you recenter.
Yes, absolutely.
And because life can be crazy, being an entrepreneur can be really crazy and really stressful. Find the thing that grounds you and gives you peace. It might just be journaling. It's different for everyone, but find that thing and embrace it.
I love it. So Katie, since you are in the social media realm, what is your platform of choice? Or can you, or are you choosing your favorite kid?
I think that one of the biggest things with social media is that people think they need to be on all the social media platforms. And for me, my two platforms of choice were LinkedIn and Instagram.
Yeah.
Up until, like I said, I've been in business now for nearly 7 years. And it wasn't until 2023 that I started incorporating Facebook into my strategy. So now I'm on those three, but it's because I have the team. I have the time.
You're able to focus on the business, not in the business.
Yeah, exactly. And so I love LinkedIn. I think it kind of gets a bad rap, but for me, I'm not a short form video person.
Yeah.
I know it's huge. I know you have to do it. I mean, I make my clients do it, but all that being said, I don't best consume content that way.
Yeah.
Give me a good old fashioned blog post or long, long written article on LinkedIn, and I'm all in. So I love reading to obtain knowledge. So LinkedIn's my favorite. I think it's great. I love going there to talk business, learn latest trends. I love to network and connect. So LinkedIn's been great for me. I think that Instagram has been huge for me also as far as growing a community. Yeah. I love the different ways that I can show up over there, whether it's really candidly in an Instagram story or if it's really silly in a short form video. I love doing voiceover. I know that it's not the trending thing to do over there anymore, but I love doing voiceovers with, funny sounds. I like making silly faces.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it's a great way for me to showcase a little bit more of my personality.
Yeah.
What I post to LinkedIn, I go there to talk shop.
Exactly. And then see them segmented the way they need to be. It's perfect. So people can find you at katiebrinkley.com.
Yep.
And then honestly, you're everywhere but LinkedIn. You're I am Katie Brinkley.
Yep. On Facebook and Instagram.
LinkedIn, you're not as cute on there. You're just like Katie Brinkley.
I wish I could just be Katie Brinkley on all of them, but somebody else named Katie Brinkley took it. Honestly, it probably was me that took it. I forgot to log in or something because the people that have those URLs are not active. So I think that
that's the worst. I have Instagram recommending my old accounts I had.
Yeah, it's probably attached to some old Hotmail account or something.
I love it. I love it. So, Key, thank you so much for being on. It's been so much fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And we'll see everyone next time. That was a great show. If you're enjoying Entrepreneurs Enigma, please review us in the podcast directory of your choice. Every review helps other podcast listeners find our show. If you're looking for other podcasts in the marketing space, look no further than the Marketing Podcast Network at marketingpodcasts.net. Goldstein Media hopes you have enjoyed this episode. This podcast is one of the many great shows on the MPN Marketing Podcast Network.
You may know you're listening to this show along the Marketing Podcast Network, but did you know there are other great shows on MPN to help your business? Tim Hines hosts a great podcast called the Marketing Starter Podcast. Tim, tell these fine folks what they're going to get when they listen.
They're going to get great insights on how marketers can take an entrepreneurial attitude to what they do in marketing to be a little bit more successful. So I interview top marketers from all around the world, and heck, even some that are bottom and middle. It's really about marketers who embody the entrepreneurial spirit to be the best that they can be.
Awesome. Where can people subscribe?
They can, of course, subscribe on marketingpodcast.net, but they can also search for the show on all their favorite podcasting platforms, as well as visiting my website, which is tnhines.com/podcast.
You heard him. Go subscribe. This podcast is heard along the Marketing Podcast Network. For more great marketing podcasts, visit marketingpodcasts.net.